So, Screams from the Tower. What a great movie. Because it reminded me of a lot of the movies that I saw in the 80s growing up as a kid, into the 90s as well. What was the inspiration behind this, Corey, about putting this film together? Because already when I see this movie, I could pick about maybe 10 movies that you got inspired from. But I'll let
Yeah.
you talk about the inspiration on this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's an autobiographical movie. I grew up in the north suburbs of Chicago, where John Hughes made all of his seminal coming of age films, and I kind of wanted to add to that canon and make the gay John Hughes movie that he never made. And I feel like he had a lot of characters that like touched lightly on that struggle, but for me, John Hughes made the best coming of age, American movies to this day. And I wanted to, I don't know, pay homage and to where I grew up, to his work, and also to my best friend who this movie is about. We were two effeminate, closeted weirdos growing up in the 90s, and no one wanted to be our friends but us. So we decided to, try to get a high school radio show and sell our brand of comedy to our whole community, whether they wanted it or not.
Mhm. And I think that's what makes this feel so grounded and so it's going to connect with a lot of people, especially as it does as it goes on through film festival circuits or streaming or anything like that, wherever it goes, it's going to connect with people because it's your story. You're bringing your story into the movie, and a lot of people have had those same similar experiences as well.
Yeah, I tried to take our lead characters, and to me, high school is such a brutal time. No matter apparently what time you go, and so it was the struggle of our main characters that was very autobiographical, but also we have this incredibly diverse, multicultural, cast, a lot like the high school I grew up with. The American high school I grew up with, and where no one was safe from, feeling like crap on a daily basis. So, this movie is to show, I guess, the current generation, high school, Gen Z, and millennial kids, what came before them, before technology, before social media. And that it's always been kind of a painful, shitty mess to go through high school. And we see you, and we're right there with you. And it's a love letter for them.
Yeah, and Richie, great acting in this as well. And you
Thank you.
probably have one of the best end scenes I've seen in movies in a
That's
really, really long time that
Thank
I
you. I
was
appreciate that.
cracking up at it was just amazing. What was it like to be a part of this film and to really rediscover high school again? Because I'm sure you're out of high school already. So
Yeah, totally. Well, we kind of say this all the time, but this was such a very rare opportunity. It's such a rare film where it felt like summer camp. Everybody in the cast, everybody in the crew got along really, really well. We were all kind of very passionate about this movie because I think everybody obviously could relate to some little piece of it. And like Corey said, we had such a diverse cast and crew that I feel like everybody that worked on the project felt seen to some capacity. So it was a great time. We were just surrounded by friends. It was a very, very collaborative process. I mean, Corey is so much fun to work with. He's very he what's your thoughts, very much interested. I might have lagged, but
well, yeah, there's a little bit of a
very
lag,
much interested in the
but
process. Um, there's a little bit of a lag. God, Zoom. Come on, Zoom, do better, do better.
I've had that
But yeah,
problem with mine
just it
too.
was it was a hell of a time.
Yeah, it definitely was. And
Yeah.
what we're
Oh
gonna
yeah.
do is let's start that answer again so that I could cut it out and we could hopefully get a clean answer on that. If you could repeat what you're saying about being a part of the film
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, basically the film it felt like summer camp, basically, from top to bottom. I think everybody that was working on it, cast and crew, became very, very close just because we were all pretty passionate about the script. I think everybody involved felt very seen in some capacity by what was said in the script. And it was just, we were laughing the whole time. It was very collaborative, and we were just having so much fun making it. And I think that can definitely resonate when you're watching the finished product. Like, we were just goofing off. It felt like I was actually back in high school. I had all these inside jokes with, it would just be like me, David Bloom, who plays Cary, and our DP in the room, and everybody else was not aware of the inside jokes, and we're cracking them, and it was a great time, super collaborative. Got to do a good amount of like improv, so just from top to bottom, it was just such a fun process.
Yeah, and it looks like it because the cast it just feels like everybody got along on set, that it was a smooth shoot. At least it comes off to somebody who watched it like that. I don't know how smooth it may have been because you know how movie shoots are.
No,
But
we were very lucky. We were a very lucky shoot. You grab up to 90 people from all over the country and from Canada, and you sequester them in, the suburbs of Chicago for a month. And, you hope no one gets sick or gets into a car accident. There's a million things that can go wrong, bad weather. And we had like one glorious August in Chicago, which never happens with great weather. And the whole production just seemed kind of like it wanted to be born. Some movies, some art just feel like they're beyond the people that wrote them and they're beyond the people that are making them. They just are fighting to be alive. And Screams from the Tower kind of feels like that.
yeah, and it premiere, well, the East Coast premiere was at Dances with Films this past Saturday. Were you there, and what did you think of the crowd reaction if you were there? Or what have you been hearing if you weren't?
It was amazing. I This was our first Dances with Films, and they have a 27-year legacy in LA. I think this was their third year in New York, and it was just such a professional festival that they run, like with like true indie spirit. And it's something that can be lip service, but they really delivered on like forming a little community, even though it's only like a 4-day festival. And it was a trip to hear a New York audience, watch our movie. This is the first time I've seen our movie in like a year. And to be like in a huge theater, Richie's face was like 30 feet high, full 5.1 digital surround. And, the audience was just like it was, sports for a gay movie. There was booing and cheering and laughter and applause and crying at the end. And it is such a traumatic experience to listen to an audience, listen to your movie, but this was a glorious experience. I don't know how you felt, Richie, but it was hot for me.
Yeah, I mean, I felt very similarly. First of all, the festival was just so much fun. I think they really pride themselves on being like the indie festival where, there's no behind the curtain shady dealings and, all that kind of a thing. So it was really cool to surround yourself by, these up and coming filmmakers that are super, super passionate about the craft. And I mean, just seeing our movie in a Regal movie theater with reclining seats and the popcorn and the soda, and like the crowd was pretty lively. Like by the end, we're in the Golden Mike Awards, which is pretty much the ending of the movie, what we're building to this whole time. And the entire theater is booing and cheering and yeah, Julian, let's go. And yeah, I mean, it did kind of feel like sports. And like when you have something like that that's happening in your theater, you're kind of looking around like, all right, maybe we have something here.
Yeah.
So it was pretty rad.
Yeah, I think you guys really do have something here because this is something that just was like feels so at home. And final question before we get off. What's the next run? Where's this movie going to next? Where can people see it? Because if you for our audience, if you love the John Hughes movies, if you like Empire Records, Napoleon Dynamite, all those genre type of movies, you're gonna love this film. So what's next for this film?
Thanks so much, Michael. Those were the movies. We're finishing out our festival year. We're still waiting on a couple more festivals, and then we should be streaming in 2020, early 2025. I can't say where right now. I'm sworn to secrecy. But if you want to follow us on at Screams from the Tower on Instagram, there's lots of pictures of our beautiful cast and some scenes and a trailer, and we'll be spraying news as we move along our festival trip and come to a streaming service near you. Hope, God forbid, a theater, because there's nothing like seeing, a comedy with a lot of strangers.
Yes, exactly. You got to see it in a like I saw this film on my TV streaming through Vimeo. I want to see this inside of a theater with a good sound system, popcorn, because this is a theater movie for sure.
Yeah,
And hopefully you
That
guys get that
really is.
at least a little theater run while you're on your streaming platform as well, which one it would may be. But would love to invite you back to Muse TV on Muse by Muse to talk about it further when it gets into the streaming aspect and it starts getting some distribution and wider release, because I think a lot of people are going to really truly love this film.
thanks, Michael. Would love to come back.
Yeah.
Great.
Anytime, man.
Yeah, definitely. You're always welcome. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time here on News by Muse.